Brothers, this is a story about messing around and finding out. You see, there are people that don't believe that they should have to face the consequences of their actions. They have in their head justified and rationalized the things that they do. Now, I'm going to say something that is controversial. I believe that if you throw a drink on somebody, I think that person should have the right to use deadly force. I'm not saying that arbitrarily. I'm saying that because the left are terrorists and they may mix something like concrete into the drink. Now, you may say, oh, concrete? What are they going to do? Like throw a concrete brick? No. For those who don't know anything about like concrete and mixtures, concrete has a chemical burn reaction on your skin. It also could be acid. It could be any number of things. Somebody that you don't know throwing something at you, a material that you don't know, that is the battery. I mean, assault and battery. But honestly, you should be allowed to defend yourself with violence. Because the idea is, well, I mean, they're just throwing a drink on you. They're throwing a drink on you. But you don't know who they are. You don't know what was in that drink. And if you are mentally ill enough to go after somebody to attack them in the way that this person attacked this cop, then, I mean, who knows what you're capable of? And honestly, I hope they put this person in jail for a long time. I still don't understand. I genuinely don't. I don't know why we're having this problem. If I were president, this problem would be solved within probably 48 hours. This problem would be solved within 48 hours, and we would never see problems like this again. How can you say that with certainty? Well, because these people would be publicly beaten and thrown into a black van, and their trial would be likely split because I would charge them as terrorists. I would charge them as enemy combatants against the United States. I would invoke the Insurrection Act. I would throw the book at these people. And, well, what do you mean you would beat them in public? Absolutely. You just assaulted an officer. You should be publicly beaten. You should be publicly dragged through the street. If you are going to attack one of our law enforcement officers, you should be made an example of in a way that they would do in the past. Do you think that, George Washington, do you think he'd be like, all right, well, you should be able to just beat police officers in the street and they shouldn't be allowed to do anything? No, round all of these people up, get them in a cell, get them out of the public, and that's just a start. Set an example. These people are assaulting and attacking police officers. Why should that be accepted? No, these people should learn a lesson that they're not going to forget for the rest of their life. And also, you broadcast that shit. And you let other people know that this is not tolerated. And I know that some people will go, oh, that's too harsh. No, we're not talking about killing these people. We're not talking about executing them in the street. We're talking about teaching them a valuable lesson. That for every action, there is an equal and opposite and even greater reaction. If you want to protest ICE, I think that's a foolish thing to do. That's a waste of time, but you have a right to do it. But these people are a rambunctious, violent, mentally ill mob of people that engage in this sort of terroristic behavior, and there are no consequences for it. Under my presidency, that would immediately change. You would not see these sort of left-wing riots anymore. because it would be so brutal and so immediate that it would shut everyone down. And, people could complain about it, but the results would speak for themselves. The results would speak for themselves. And they go, well, we're going to come back in greater numbers. Well, okay, then we're going to come in and we're going to bring in the military. That's an insurrection. You are insurrecting against the United States. These people need to be taught a lesson. And unfortunately, in our political climate today, it's not going to happen. This person's going to get a slap on the wrist. Oh, he only threw, juice at a cop or whatever. But this really should be a severe punishment. Now, in this case, the cop chose not to shoot this person, even though they did attack him. But that's... How do you justify assault? This cop should be allowed to be attacked with a foreign substance by some random person, and he doesn't have the right to defend himself? No. Get out of here. It's ridiculous. And these people need to be taught a very, very important lesson. All these people do. It's crazy. It's crazy that we live in a country where we don't defend our law enforcement officers. We leave them out there to be targeted and harassed. And none of the Republican politicians or Democrat politicians do anything to defend law enforcement. Nothing. They don't do a damn thing to protect these guys that go out there in the middle of these freaks and put their lives and livelihood on the line. And I think that needs to change. It does. It needs to change immediately. And you need to set severe, strict examples to stop this sort of behavior from ever happening again. It only takes a couple times. It only takes a couple times before these people will stop doing it. Because the reason these people are so rambunctious and so disorderly is because they know that they can get away with it. The moment that they know that they're not going to get away with it and there are going to be steep consequences, whether it be the loss of your life or great bodily harm or spending a long time in jail, the moment that they realize that is the game, they're not going to do this. These people exist and thrive to promote their evil because of our indulgence. And I think that needs to end. That's my personal opinion on this. And I know that there will be defenders that say that's too draconian, that's too extreme. But those are people that sit in their basement. They don't ever have to engage with this. These are people that have detached mostly from the world. They don't have any consequences of their actions. They're not the ones that have to take the call. If somebody's breaking into a house, you call 911. It's like these people will never have to live with the consequences of their so-called empathy. And so, yeah, I think that the police need to be allowed to defend themselves. I think these people on the left should be punished. And I would throw the book at every single one of these people. They would be rounded up and they'd be dealt with. Put them into the leftist prison work camp. These people are, communist, socialists. You send them to the work camp. Workers of the world unite within the work camp. But anyway, yeah, this is obnoxious. It's egregious. I don't think that anything's going to be done about this necessarily. I think this person is going to get a slap on the wrist, but I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that they go after this person to the fullest extent of the law, and this person pay a severe and heavy price for what they did, because it's unacceptable. There's no reason police should have to deal with this. There's no reason that we as a society should have to deal with this. We should be a high-trust society, a civil society. Other countries can do it. Japan can do it. Why can't we? We just have to take care of about 2 to 5% of the population. Either put them in jail or get them out. And, things would immediately be markedly better. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, allowing me to come before you and talk about this stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time.